know you're crazy, but I only wanna be with you. You think I'm shady cause I'm out here trying to make some moves, but it ain't like that. Just know that I'll be right back. I give you all my time just to let you know you're mine. It ain't nothing. Promise I'ma do it all to give you something. This love I got is only for you. You're my comfort, my future husband. I'ma give you all my heart, yeah, all of it, yeah. Baby, I know that I gotta come fix it. You the only nigga that I be missing. Swear I'm coming home to give you the business. Turn off my phone, it can leave me a message. I'ma just cover your body with kisses, kisses. Rub your body down, you know that I miss it, miss it.
Glasses in the air, toast to a higher power. Cause what you tuning in to right now,
sit down,
it's Lito's Happy Hour. Lito's Happy Hour, this is where it's at. Raw and uncut, we giving real facts. Educating, entertaining all the people. And when it come to podcasts, it ain't nothing equal. Giving people knowledge they can put in action. All the way authentic, we ain't never capping. Exclusive interviews, cause we ain't never lacking. The other state is talking and we bout the action. Glasses in the air, toast to a higher power. This is Lito's Happy Hour.
So, did you figure out what you're dressing up as tomorrow?
He wants to dress up as a real guy who murdered 9 people last year.
Oh, you're not doing that.
It's just a costume. You think that guy's still out there?
What's up with you and this clown all of a sudden? You're like obsessed.
They never found his body. What if he decides to come back here?
I wouldn't worry about it.
Wait a minute, aren't you that guy from the costume shop?
sir. What are you doing?
It wasn't me.
He was covered in blood on his shirt and his hands when he got here.
I'm telling you, it was him, Allie. Right down to the little black dot on the tip of his nose.
You're really weird, you know that?
I believe him.
About what? Something really bad's gonna happen tonight.
No, I know when Jonathan's lying, okay? I could hear it in his voice. Something's wrong.
Look, we're gonna have fun. Stress-free environment.
Yep. Speaking of surprises, kids, we have a very special guest with us today, all the way from Miles County. Please welcome Art the Clown.
Welcome to Happy Hour with Lito. I am your host. Today I have a special guest. I know I say that a lot, y'all, but today I really do have a special guest. This guy is, you know what I mean, the executive producer of one of the craziest movies out today. Terrifier 2, my guy, Steve Barton. How you doing, bro? Steve, you there?
What's up, man? It's been a minute. We haven't spoken for a while.
Yeah, yes, sir.
I'm here. I think it's going a little weird, like you're freezing up. Am I good now?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Hey, man. Yeah, it's been a minute since last we spoke.
Yeah.
You were just telling me that, we were talking a couple of years ago on ClubHouse and shit. And
right.
Even back then, we were just really in the thick of this. We didn't there's no way any of us could have predicted what was going to happen with Terrifier 2.
Right.
And we're just so blessed. It is like the most humbling thing that ever could have happened. And I mean that because we made this movie specifically for fans of the first one, you know? And either there was a lot of fans of the first one, which there were,
Yeah.
or we really hit something and touched on something that we didn't know everybody wanted or needed, or however you want to look at it.
Gotcha. I mean, listen, I I've never before I talked to you in Clubhouse, right? I never heard of Terrifier. Like, you know what I mean? Like it just flew under the radar for me.
Mhm.
And so like I started watching the second one. The opening scene. Listen, have you ever seen Green Inferno?
Yes.
I don't know which one is like Terrifier is probably worse than that.
We're definitely more violent than Green Inferno was.
Green
You know what?
Inferno was so nasty. Like,
It's you know what it is? It's a different kind of violence. I mean, we're more graphic, but in a lot of ways, the violence in, say, Green Inferno or the Saw movies or Hostel or whatever,
yeah.
it's a bit more disturbing than we are. Not because they're doing, or they are or they aren't doing some crazy shit like we are, but I think it's the way we present it, you know?
Yeah.
Uh, in Hostel and Green Inferno and movies like that, it's always very, the gore and the violence is always very serious. Whereas we just go so far that it just becomes absurd and you start laughing at it. And Art the Clown is so happy when he's doing all his shit, you know? So you just start laughing at what you're seeing. And you know, you come to that point and you're watching the movie and you're like, should I be laughing at this? And yes, you absolutely should. It's not meant to be realistic. There's no way some of those people could have lived through all the stuff that was happening to them. And we know that. But
Right.
we also know that we have a demonic clown. And if you could buy a demonic clown, you can buy that, right? It's movie.
Speaking of Art the Clown, how in the world do y'all make a clown that does not talk at all? Right. And he's probably top 5, top 3 horror villain of all time.
Well, you know, a lot of the horror villains don't speak, you know, but like Jason never says anything, Michael never says anything. It's their physicality that does the talking for them, but much more like Freddy, Art isn't a very big, imposing character. And what we managed to do with Art the Clown, what Damien managed to do, Damien Leone, the director, is create a character that has all of the personality of Freddy Krueger, but also keep him quiet. Like you don't even hear when Art's getting his ass whipped, you don't even hear him making a grunt, or you don't
Right.
hear him breathe. You don't hear anything.
Right.
And that's really a testament to David Howard Thornton's portrayal of the character, because you know a lot of people are like, oh, he's an actor, but he don't have any lines to memorize. But he's also giving you and portraying this character in a way that he's doing it all with his face and his
Yeah.
body movements. And Art the Clown is one of those few characters who you can tell when he's pissed, you could tell when he's having fun, you can tell when he's annoyed. You know, it's all in the facial animations that David brings to this character. He's very animated in his face. He has those big eyes and that fucking ugly smile, you know, and it all comes together. And David and Damien, you know, they're a perfect match. They get each other. They have like their own language when he's directing David as Art, you know. It's like it's magic, man. And it's something that we all knew was special, you know, because for as fucked up as Art is, there's something about the character that you kind of like him, you know? You want to hang out with him for a little while. You want to, just spend some time with him. And it's really interesting because like he's evil personified. He really is. He does really bad things, but you just have to let you kind of in a weird way fall in love with him.
That's true. This movie makes Green Inferno look like Sesame Street.
Yeah.
I mean, when I first watched Green Inferno, it was my brother. My brother likes all of these, so I told him about Terrifier too. So he's gonna he has to watch the first one because that's what so he's gonna watch the first and the second one.
Mm-hmm.
I told him, I said, listen, I don't know if you're gonna be able to just hold, don't eat nothing.
It's funny when all that stuff started happening during the theatrical run and people were passing out and people were fainting, we didn't know about any of that stuff.
That's crazy.
If it wasn't for Twitter, we would never have even have found out about it. And a lot of people think it's a marketing ploy, but you know what? Our marketing budget was zero. We didn't have a marketing budget, and we weren't, to be honest with you, we weren't smart enough to even think of doing that and planting that, It's just, and I guess I think that's because we live in a time that has a lot of digital effects.
Mm-hmm.
And digital effects, as good as they are, they lack that visceral, palpable reality,
I agree.
And so Damien went all practical with his effects, as he did in the first one. And I he'll use things like, it's not just latex and blood. Damien will go to the butcher shop and get some chicken. He'll get some bacon, he'll get some real animal fat, and he'll work that into the effects because when you can't substitute the real thing.
True.
Real thing is going to have a different texture. It's going to have a different look, a different feel. It'll move differently than any like digital or practical effect. You need that realism. So Damien brought that realism into the effects work. And I think the result of that were people who weren't used to seeing things on such a hyper realistic level that these people who were going into theater and watching things like Happy Death Day, they didn't know what they were in for, and a lot of people also went to see Terrifier 2 because of the hype around it without seeing the first one. If you saw the first one, then you know what you're getting into,
Yeah, I didn't know.
If you go in blind and you never seen that shit and you're just not ready, And that was a lot of times when I was talking about Terrifier 2 to people before the movie came out, I would say, you guys aren't ready.
No.
And apparently I was right because people started throwing up and they started fainting. So,
I couldn't believe hearing that because I heard that they were like the movie theaters were giving out, bags.
Some of them were giving out barf bags. It's crazy, dude. Again, we did not have any idea that was going to. We don't want anyone to get hurt. We don't want anyone.
Right.
We just want you to have a good time. But one of the funniest stories was there was this other podcast I did a few weeks back called The Box Office Boys. And the reason I did that podcast is they were originally going to see Ticket to Paradise, right? But when they got to the theater, they saw that Terrifier 2 was playing there. And they had heard that people were throwing up and fainting. And so they were hoping like that would happen in their theater. And sure as hell, during their screening, 2 people got sick. And when this happened at the end of the movie, they went into like straight documentarian mode, right? They're interviewing the people that got sick. They're taking pictures of the vomit. And here's what blows my mind, right?
Wow.
This person that got sick in the middle of the row, right? And he's the only person that left. Can you imagine that? I mean, if that doesn't attest to how, I guess, interesting the movie is, that you'll just sit there next to a pile of puke because you don't want to leave and miss the movie. I don't know is there any higher compliment than that? I don't know.
There's not. I've never heard of anybody barfing at a movie theater because of watching a movie.
It
I've
happened.
never heard of that.
It happened in the 70s with The Exorcist.
Oh, okay. I can believe that.
So it did happen before.
Mm-hmm.
But, movies have become very homogenized,
Mm-hmm.
and even the most violent of movies, sometimes it has to scale back or they don't want to go too far.
Right.
Whereas on Terrifier 2, we would just like go as far as you want. This ain't ever going to play in a theater, and
so you thought they still have it playing at my theater, down the street from it's about 5-10 minutes from here.
Crazy.
It's still playing.
That's amazing. And you know what? It's still making a decent amount of money for what it is. I mean, literally, we thought we were going to get October 5th, 6th, and 7th, and then boom, straight to video. And that's what everybody expected.
Yeah.
And then something incredible happened. You guys all started showing up. And you kept showing up. And we never knew how long the movie was going to play in theaters. We wouldn't find out until Monday, So when that first Monday rolled around and it turned out we made $1.2 million in the box office, my man, we were crying. We were
I'm sure
emotional. Like, holy cow, how did we do that? We made back like 3 times our budget in the first weekend. And then they were like, all right, well, let's hold it another week. And then that second week they held us, AMC didn't have us. So we were in 300 less theaters and still ended up making more money than the week before. So then they were like, okay, well, now we're going to hold you again. And now we're dealing with Halloween Ends. We're dealing with Smile, right?
I've seen all of those too, by the way.
Like, how are we in the theater with these movies and we're competing, I mean, Halloween Ends, say what you want about the movie. This is the conclusion of a 40-year-long franchise.
True.
We don't belong in the same story as that, We're not even an original movie. We're Terrifier fucking 2. You know what I mean? And hardly anyone who was going to see this had seen the original. So the fact that we stayed in the conversation with those 2 movies, the fact that we stayed in the conversation with Black Adam, are you kidding me? You know? I mean, listen, we knew Wakanda Forever is going to come out and we're legitimately going to get bitch smacked, which we did because everybody did. And we expected that because that should be the big movie. And it deserves to be the big movie. And everyone in the theater at the time of that movie's opening, everyone knew this is it for us. This is Wakanda Forever was turning the page into the holiday season of movies.
Right.
Whatever anybody had going on, it was done. And but yeah, we're still in a few theaters, as you just said. And
still in mine. That's for sure.
Over a month, this little movie. Incredible. And that's only because of the fans.
So you guys' budget was what, 250,000?
Yeah, we made back over 40 times our budget.
Yeah, I was reading it. It said like over 10 million.
Yeah.
I said, oh my God. I said, for like an independent type of film like this, over $10 million? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, for a lot of people who hear that number, it doesn't sound like a much, given, movie theater box office numbers that you usually hear.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about a little film that had $250,000 budget, less than probably, that ends up doing what this one did, it just doesn't happen. We actually, and this isn't like me bullshit. Listen, there's a fine line between ego and confidence.
For sure.
We were confident we made a good movie. And none of us have egos, but I mean, we made history. It's actually in the film history books now as something that actually made history. And this has happened before with movies like, say, The Blair Witch Project and Paranormal Activity, which were very, very indie. Both of those flicks, super indie.
Right.
But both of those flicks had a huge studio behind them pouring money into the marketing campaign. So when they came out, you knew about these movies, you know? You were already familiar with what was coming, with what they were about. And we didn't have any of that. I'm not joking when I tell you, I'm not exaggerating. We had no marketing budget at all.
Wow.
You know, and Jerry O'Connell, when they're talking about it on The Talk of all things, he's like,
I seen that, yeah.
I'm like, whoever's doing the marketing for this movie is doing such a great job. And I'm like, hi, it's me, it's Bloody Disgusting, and it like 2 or 3 people from the cast and crew and the fans. That's all it is. And that's all it was.
That's crazy.
And there, people are still talking about it, man. You know, I mean, you know how hard it is to trend on Twitter unless you're a huge topic, and we
For
trended
sure.
for 12 times.
Yeah.
It's we're so happy and so blessed and so humbled by this experience, and that's why, you know, if you pay attention to the way we, meaning the people involved in the Terrifier films, we're constantly talking with the fans.
Right.
We're super accessible. We always, and we pride ourselves on that because we know that if it wasn't for you and it wasn't for every one of those people that showed up, that tweeted about it, that posted about it, that TikToked about it, whatever, we don't exist. You know, so as far as we're concerned, you're all a big part of the reason why we're taking this ride. So you're not only on the ride with us, you're in the car, baby. You're right here, you know?
You know, it's so crazy because
insane.
you talked about this 2 years ago. You said we are working on this and this is going to be so crazy. Like, wait till you guys see this.
Yeah, but crazy in a way that it was super violent. Damien is he'll take his camera. Well, he'll take George Stuber, our cinematographer's camera, and he'll make George put that camera where no one else puts it, you know, and give you a extreme close up of all of the effects work. Because Damien, he wrote the movie, he edited the movie, he directed the movie, and he did all of the special effects.
Wow.
So,
nice.
You know, being that he was the one doing the effects, he had a good understanding of how to film them and how they should be presented on screen. And, you know, now that we're removed from doing Terrifier 2, and obviously everyone's asking us about a third one, and we'll get there.
Right.
You know, we ain't gonna lie, but I think this is one of those times where if we had like a bigger budget, it would hurt us.
Yeah.
You know? Because then we wouldn't have to work so hard, and we wouldn't have to. If we had a bigger team, we wouldn't even know what to do.
Right.
You know? So I think at least when it comes to the alchemy of making a Terrifier movie, you need to stick with a really close group of people, which we are. There's only 9 of us that made that movie, aside from like the carpenters, the hair people, the makeup people. Only 9 people made that movie. You
That's
know?
so crazy. That's so crazy.
And can you imagine that? 9 people. Studio movies have more drivers for talent than we had staff.
Wow.
You know,
talk about hard work.
Our $250,000 fucking entire budget was probably less than Jamie Lee Curtis's brand muffin per diem on Halloween. You know, so I mean, it's crazy, man. This was magic, and
even football players are tuned in. Like I seen someone, they had a Terrifier 2 cleat.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've seen that. Yeah.
Insane.
I said, wow. I mean, that's a promotion there too.
Stephen King.
Oh yeah, Stephen King. He tweeted about it.
Mike Flanagan, Jerry O'Connell, Howard Stern. You know, it's just
when Stephen King tweets about you know you got something.
My man, my girl took that tweet and framed it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's legit.
Yeah,
He's given quotes to like 5 movies. You know, like
that's so
literally.
crazy. Like he was paying attention. I went to and I looked at the tweet. I said, "Wow,
And he
that's so
got it.
crazy."
He
Yeah,
knew what we were doing, you know? What Terrifier is it's a return to, listen, we're all around the same age who made this movie, like between 30 and 50, or for in one case of our producer, one of our producers, a little bit older. Excuse me.
mm-hmm.
And basically what we did was we just made the kind of movie we wanted to see when we were young. You know, because when I was like in my late teens and 20s, we'd all be hanging at the schoolyard, right? And talking about these movies like, yo, did you see this movie where this happened? Or
Yeah,
this movie where that happened? Or in this movie they did this. So it was like a return to those type of movies you only talked about with your friends, you know?
right.
Because you didn't think anybody was going to be up on it enough to even talk about it outside of like a schoolyard or something like that.
So one thing I noticed, like I was talking about the opening scene, right? Like the opening scene it gets right to it.
Mm-hmm. We did not wait. There was no time
Listen,
wasted in Terrifier 2.
I'm gonna tell you something funny. Me and my wife started watching it, right?
I'm
And
sorry.
me and my wife, we both like horror movies, right? We love them. So we're watching it, and the opening scene, it gets right to it. And then I'm not giving any spoilers for people who haven't seen it yet. You guys got to just go see it, right? But my wife was like, Kevin, what do you have me watching? He said, I love horror movies, but this is, I don't know.
I'm sorry. You know, I mean, listen.
I said, hey, I didn't know.
Did she make it through the whole thing?
Um, no, she
I
didn't.
didn't think so. Where'd she tap out? Did you make it through the whole thing?
Listen, I have to watch it in sections. Because you know it's on it's on Amazon Prime too. You can rent it. I have to watch sections of this because when the part when the guy got hit, you know what I'm talking about, right? The guy was outside the car and yeah.
Oh, I know. Just the tip. Okay.
Yes.
That's what you made it up to?
Yeah. I I lost it and I
you have at least a half hour to go.
okay. I lost it. I said, "Oh my it, Art the clown he's crazy. If I seen him outside, I'm running. If I can't get to my car, I'm still running.
Mm-hmm.
Because I
Well,
mean,
you know, I mean, I think what sets him apart from like, and I'm not comparing them, okay? I mean, Jason Voorhees is very much an icon. Michael Myers, an icon. Freddy Krueger, Ghostface, all those cats. But I think what sets Art the Clown apart from them, not saying at all, don't get it twisted, that he's better in any way, shape, or form.
right.
But I think what differentiates him from killers like that is you get caught out there by Jason, by Michael, you know, they're going to kill you and move on. Art's
Yeah.
going to take his time, you know? Art's going to be around a little bit. Like each kill in Terrifier 2 is between 2 and 4 minutes long. He rarely just stabs and moves, you know? He's going to hang around a little bit and do some evil shit to you.
Yes.
So I think that sets him apart. And I think the way we presented it, and it's so far out of the realm kill goes like 70 steps. One of the things that this made this movie successful is, let's be real, collectively as a nation and as a globe, we've had a really shitty several years.
Yes.
You know? And I think what happened with Terrifier is, here's a little movie that there is no underlying message. There is nothing to it other than strap in and have a good time, you know? And
True.
I think it just enabled people to just sit back and blow off some steam, man. We've all had such an awful few years that everybody was in need to just blow off some steam. And I think this movie does that. It gives people that opportunity. When I saw it, I think I saw it like 3 or 4 times with a crowd. And each time I saw it with a crowd, people were cheering, they were screaming, they were laughing, they were having a really good time. And I haven't seen that type of experience in a movie theater in forever. So to be able to give people that release and allow them to have fun, that's a gift for us. And it's one we take seriously.
Nice. So how long did it take y'all to actually complete the movie?
Damien said about 3 weeks. It ended up taking 3 years.
Nice. I mean, well, that's why it's so good, though. I mean,
you know, there was a lot working against us. I mean, we had the pandemic, we had everything that could have gone wrong went wrong, but everybody stayed the course. You know, everybody always brought their A game. The pandemic in particular, I don't want to say we took advantage of the time, because it was a tragedy, and we in no way want to even make it almost sound like we took advantage of extra time because of an absolute national tragedy. But what Damien did was, it since we couldn't film, it gave him an opportunity to go back and re-examine the kills and think about maybe them better and how to add to them and make them a little bit more crazy, I guess. So, I mean, every minute that was spent on that movie was spent trying to make it the best movie it could possibly be. And every dime that was raised on that movie, every cent of it is on the screen.
Nice.
You know, every single nickel that everyone stretched 50 miles, you know, is on the screen, because we didn't have anything. The only thing we had was we had passion to make a good movie. That was it. You know, we're 9 guys from New York, you know, and you know, we're not your Hollywood folks, you know. We had the benefit of not having to have a studio breathing down our necks telling us what to do. We just made the movie we wanted to make. And I think it speaks for itself in terms of if we did it right or if we did it wrong. The movie's not for everyone. You know, there are people that are going to see it that are going to hate it, and that's okay. Because as a filmmaker, the worst thing you can do, the absolute worst thing you can do, is put something out there and have it make people feel nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
So even if you like the movie or you hate the movie, it made you feel something, then we did our job, you know. But thankfully, a lot more people are liking it than hating it. So that's a win too. And again, we're blown away by the response, man. And that's why, again, we're always so humble when it comes to dealing with the fans and ensure that, you know, we spend as much time talking to them as possible, even at conventions, you know.
Yeah.
We just did a show here in New Jersey out in PA called Monster Mania, and there were thousands of people in line to see us.
It's kind of like Horror Hound Weekend that we have here.
Right.
Yeah.
And we took the time to make sure everyone had a good time and everyone got exactly what they needed and what they wanted. And that's very important to us because the fans are super important to us. We care about you guys. You guys gave us a gift, you know, And we have to honor that and honor you, or else we're failing at doing our job. And we're not good losers. We want to excel, we want to do the right thing. And that means never letting the win go to your head.
Right.
Just be who we are and live how we live and the kind of movies that we make.
A couple more questions for you. So I read somewhere that the Academy has noticed you guys' movie. Is that true?
Listen, we ain't winning no Academy Award. Okay?
But nomination is even good though if you get nominated.
But you know what? The deal was, being that we played so long and we were in the top 10 every week, and we made X amount of money and whatever else the qualifications were, we qualified to submit. So once we found out we qualified to submit, we're like, yo, submit that fucking thing immediately.
Right.
Listen, again, we're not going to win. We don't stand a chance. But the simple fact that because we submitted, those stuffy people over at the Academy have to sit through even 5 minutes of Terrifier 2, that's a win, baby. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, good. That's great. You sit through that shit.
They're definitely going to tell you what they think about that.
They're going to completely ignore us. But you know what? When we started talking about it, they actually tweeted back at us, so they know we're in the game. So we don't stand a chance. We know we don't stand a chance. But honestly, Kevin, it was too funny not to submit it. You know what I mean? It was just too funny not to do it. So we had to do it.
Nice. So, last question, bro. Like, so where do you go from here? What's next for you?
Bed. We're all really, really tired. This has been a once in a lifetime amazing moment for all of us, and that's all because of you guys. But I mean, this has been like getting caught in the coolest tornado in the world, but we're still hanging on for dear life, And this last weekend was the first time we were out in public together since all of this happened. So it was like getting shot out of a cannon into speeding traffic, you know? And honestly speaking, we haven't even had time to process this. This is all still going on for us. And I don't think we've had a chance to just sit down and reflect and think about it. But I think once everything dies down, like maybe after home video and the movie's just out there and there's no more promoting to do and there's no more talking to do, I think then we'll have a chance to catch our breath and figure out what we're going to do next. Personally, I have a couple of projects I'm hoping to get off the ground. It's getting to look a little easier to get them off the ground now, not going to lie.
For sure.
When it comes time, if it comes time,
when
to make Terrifier 3, everything gets dropped and we do it.
Yeah.
So, but it has to be done the right way for the right reasons. And the biggest reason is we do it for the fans who liked the first two. Because the only reason we did the second one was for the fans who liked the first one. So that's the main reason to do a 3. It'll be nice to make money, but who knows? We may not. People could Terrifier 3 come out, nobody can go see it. There's no way to predict it,
Yeah.
But no matter what, we're still going to do our very best to make sure we put out something that we are proud of, that hopefully is worthy of all the fans who love these franchises, and that's our main thing. But right now, the holidays are coming up.
Yes, it is.
We need a minute. Listen, we need an hour. Just to compose ourselves and get back on the track of what's next. Because right now, again, dude, we're still flying. Like you said, the movie's still in theaters.
Yeah.
Still made almost 100,000 per night last week, and it's streaming on Screenbox and available to buy on home video. So people are actually still going to the movies to see this on the big screen, and that's the reason they're going.
Yeah.
So God bless, man. Thank you so much. It's just been incredible, and we're so happy. But again, as for what's next, bed.
Have your family seen this?
Oh yeah. Well, certain members of my family.
Yes, right, for sure.
I don't think I'll be showing it to my mother-in-law anytime soon. For obvious reasons, but
for sure.
know what? The coolest thing happened in the movie. There's this character called the Pale Girl, and you know who I'm talking about. And my mother-in-law actually made the costume for my niece to wear at Monster Mania.
Wow.
I got a cool ass mother-in-law.
That's saying. Dope. Yeah,
Martin,
that's dope.
Love you. You did an incredible job, but I'm still not showing you the movie.
No, she can't see that. Me personally, I just want to tell you, like, I'm proud of everything that you're doing, and happy for you. You know what I mean? Like I said, I remember it was like you talking about it during the pandemic. You know what I mean? You're like, no, wait till y'all see this movie. Like, this is gonna be nice. And I'm actually going to buy, because I do this with like horror movie stuff, right? Because for Halloween, I was Freddy Krueger. I actually bought the actual mask from of his, and then I bought the actual glove of his, and I just collect stuff like that. I bought Michael Myers. It's like a doll that stands up about. It's pretty tall. You know what I mean? So I was looking for Art the Clown one, and I found one. I'm gonna get it.
They're out there.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna have that, and I'm gonna put it with all my other horror stuff.
Well, I just want you to know, for you and for people like you who do buy Art the Clown merchandise and keep it in the same spots as like Friday the 13th and Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street, it's just another honor, and we're just very grateful and humbled that you'd even consider our little weirdo character good enough to keep that kind of company.
Yes, sir. Listen, the floor is yours. You can tell everybody how to contact you, how to see the movie, everything.
Okay, well, when I get out of bed, you can reach me on Twitter at Uncle Creepy, on Facebook at Uncle Creepy, on Instagram at Uncle Creepy SB. The movie's streaming now on Screenbox. It's a Amazon Prime add-on for $5 a month. You get Terrifier, Terrifier 2, and a bunch of other cool horror movies. So, if you're going to spend $20 to see it in the theater and all you get is that movie, why not spend $5 a month and get 100 other movies with it? That's kind of cool. It's also available on all the streaming outlets like Vudu, Amazon for rent, for purchase, to stream it in 4K. And the Blu-ray and the DVD come out December 27th. So nice. Check out Terrifier 2 in any which way you want.
That's awesome. Well, listen, Uncle Creepy, you know what I mean? I want to thank you for coming on the show. And we're definitely going to have you back on here so we can talk about some more, of everything that you're working on.
Appreciate you.
For sure. Listen, you guys, this is Steve Barton, executive producer of Terrifier 2. Y'all make sure y'all go and see that. Go spend the money. Go watch it 2, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times at the theater. All right. Go. I am going to grab my friends because they don't even know about this. I'm going to take them and we're going to go to the theater and I'm just going to have fun laughing. Because I want to see if they look at me and say, bro, what did you bring me to?
I hope you keep your friends when it's over.
For sure. Thank you for coming. This is Happy Hour with Lito, and we out.
Glasses in the air. Toast to a higher power. Cause what you tuning into right now is Lito's Happy Hour. Lito's Happy Hour, this is where it's at. Raw and uncut, we giving real facts. Educating, entertaining all the people. And when it come to podcasts, it ain't nothing equal. Giving people knowledge they can put in action. All the way authentic, we ain't never capping. Exclusive interviews cause we ain't never lacking. The other state is talking and we bout the action. Glasses in the air. Toast to a higher power. This is Lito's happy hour.